let me just do a quick video kind of discussing a few points from the documentary, discussing a few points from the case itself, and give reasons as to why I believe something sinister happened to Jay. But we're going to start with a number of things that the family didn't speak about, the documentary didn't address, that nobody wanted to talk about after they happened. And these are facts, ladies and gentlemen, absolute facts. Because it's clear as day when you're looking at all of the information there is to look at, ladies and gentlemen, something happened to Jay. He never made it to the Airbnb. They want us to believe he made it to the Airbnb, but he never made it there. Picture of Jay in the back of the car where he's smiling and Rocky's sleeping. As I said in the last video, why did that not get shown to Debbie on day 1? Day 2, day 3, day 4, week 1, week 2, week 25. Why did Debbie not see it? Why did no one else see it other than Ayub? More or less.
Here we have Wax Unfiltered opinion about the Channel 4 Jay Slater documentary and all the missing information.
There is a process for evidence. And then you've got to say to yourself, if they hadn't seen it prior to inquest day number 2, then inquest day number 2 shouldn't have been closed as an accidental fall, because there's new evidence that's been brought to light that therefore needs to be examined. But that wasn't the case. It was just kind of shown in court for the first time ever, and that was enough for Debbie to be like, okay, I believe you. Because that's what more or less closed this case, ladies and gentlemen. A picture that Ayub revealed. Ayub is the one that closed this case. He got this case closed. And that's what doesn't make any sense. It makes me feel like it's being engineered purposely, especially when there's multiple contradictions, multiple red flags. In fact, there's contradictions that were being said to you on that day and you wasn't able to recognize them. You published the total opposite in your documentary. And the part that you published seemed like you were trying to force it. Again, engineer it to make it look like, because there was no way you could identify Jay through that grainy image. If you really believed it was Jay, or if you really knew it was Jay, you would have shown us more to the image. You wouldn't have just shown us a screenshot at 3:07 of Jay in tramps and then allowed Ayub at the inquest to say Jay was with him and the group outside Sugar Reef until 4 AM sucking balloons. Because if they were all together until Sugar Reef closed at 4 AM, how the hell would have Jay been at Tramps at 3:07 when Sugar Reef is 25 minutes away? The times don't add up. The stories don't add up. But Debbie and Warren happily lapped up that information and said, thank you. How? It makes no sense. Unless you're telling me someone knows more to the story than meets the eye, and they're not telling us about it, and they're a part of engineering the story to make it look like an accident. Because how does a grieving person get closure from a photo of their son that was smiling in the back of a car that they should have been shown a whole year ago, unless they already saw that picture? Now, another reason why I believe this could have been engineered from day 1 is because of the fact that Ayub and Rocky were both deemed mystery men. How can they both be deemed mystery men? In fact, we were never given Rocky's name. Mark Williams Thomas was never able to get Rocky's name. Why? Why wasn't the family ever able to get Rocky's name? It was Duncan Smith, about 7-8 months into the case, who eventually revealed Rocky's name. But then at the first inquest, we then see Stephen Rockas on the witness list, and he said that he's never spoke to the police, he's never gave any statements. In fact, there is no Spanish statement from Stephen. Pretty sure I've never seen it, never heard it. How is Rocky on the witness list with no statement? The guy that was sleeping in the car, Rocky was a fool guy, and so was Ayub. Rocky was covering for Ayub and Ayub was covering for Brandon. It's starting to look really strange. And there's other things that they're totally ignoring that, in my opinion, proves there's been a cover-up. Someone's being protected. Who's that person? Brandon Hodgson. He's being protected by Ayub. He's being protected by everyone involved. And the reason I say that is because why wasn't an investigation done into Jay's bank account? We had 2 witnesses come forward last year in July. Last year, July. Could have even been June. But 2 witnesses come forward. They said that they purchased drugs from Lucy and they transferred the money into Jay Slater's bank account. Now you've got to think to yourself, why would these 2 ladies come forward and stage this? make it look like these guys are doing something wrong when they're just innocent teens partying and one of their friends have genuinely just gone missing. Now, what makes it worse is the information that was given to them could be verified. This information was given to us a year before the inquest. So we knew about these two people coming forward, having this deal with Lucy and transferring money into Jay Slater's bank. We had that information almost a year ago. And when we get to the inquest, what do we find out? That Jay's bank declined twice. It more or less was frozen for whatever reason. It's never been explained why Jay's bank was frozen. And Hodgie sent a message to Jay asking him to get £200 out of his bank account. For what? There we go. There is a motive right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is a motive right there. A motive that hasn't been investigated, hasn't been looked into, but guess what? It's a fact. It happened, but no, we'll sweep that under the carpet. We won't add that to the documentary. We won't look into that whatsoever. No, we're not gonna do that. What about the later messages about everything that I've done for you? All that I have done for you. What do you mean? All that you have done for me. I mean, there's multiple sketchy messages, ladies and gentlemen, that Debbie decided not to look into. Family decided not to add to the documentary because the aim was to make it look like people like myself and others were in the wrong. As I said to you guys in my last video, this case hasn't been thoroughly investigated. They can't explain where Jay was after being kicked out of NRG. We see him at 1:10, but the first point of contact with Lucy isn't until 20 to 3 in the morning. That's 1.5 hours later. So where is Jay for 1.5 hours? He's not with Brad, he's not with Lucy, he's not with Brandon, he's not with Ayub, he's not with Rocky. Where is Jay for 1.5 hours? Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, after 1:10 in the morning, we never see Jay again. That screenshot of Jay in Tramps can't be verified, and it contradicts what Ayub said in the inquest. So again, when we see Jay leaving the NRG festival without his t-shirt, that's the same Jay we saw when Lucy was walking down the stairs, Brandon walked over to her in the nightclub, and Jay was kind of left by himself, looking like he was about to just fall and collapse or find a corner to sleep in. In my opinion, Jay found himself walking out of the entrance of the NRG festival because I think he was looking for Brandon and Lucy. Brandon walks over to Lucy when she was coming down the stairs. She's got 2 bags around her at the time. God knows what's in those bags. And from there, the footage cuts off. However, we get to see the screenshots in the documentary, Jay walking out. He looks in the same condition as he was, without his t-shirt on. And then we see him without his t-shirt on again, being told to leave by the security guard and being told to go a certain direction. And that's the sad thing about all of this, because from my perspective, and I can't speak for all content creators, but from my perspective and from my community's perspective, it's always been about justice for Jay. I mean, we saw the screenshot of that video time and time ago, but A was wearing a pink t-shirt. You gotta think, like, when was that video taken? Was that after the NRG festival? Would that have been when Jay got kicked out? Was that before going to the NRG festival? Like, where does that footage come from where Brad is filming Jay and Ayub? When is that? Where is that? At what time is that? These things have never been verified, never been looked into.
Welcome to the dark side of humanity. Please let us know your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching. And if you haven't already, please visit Wax Unfiltered for the full video.
Believe me, if I started murdering people, there'd be none of you left.